The morning started like any other Tuesday. People went to work, children went to school, and the world moved forward as it always had. Nobody expected the sky to change forever. Admiral Jake Morrison was drinking his coffee in his office at the Space Command Center when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed across every screen, and his assistant ran into the room with panic in her eyes. "Sir, you need to see this right now," she said, her voice shaking. Jake put down his coffee and walked to the main control room. What he saw made his blood run cold. On the giant screen that showed Earth from space, massive black ships hung in the sky above every major city. The ships were bigger than anything humans had ever built. They looked like floating mountains, made of dark metal. "How many?" Jake asked, his voice steady despite the fear growing in his chest. 57 ships, sir. They appeared at the same time over New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, and every other major city on Earth, reported Lieutenant Danny Walsh, the communications officer. Jake stared at the screen. Each ship was at least 10 miles long and 3 miles wide. They cast huge shadows over the cities below. People in the streets looked up in terror and wonder. "Are they doing anything?" Jake asked. "Just sitting there, sir." "But they're scanning everything. Our satellites, our military bases, our communication networks. They're learning about us." President Lisa Carter's face appeared on the secure video link. Her usual calm expression was replaced by worry, but she kept her voice controlled. "Admiral Morrison, what's our situation?" "Unknown alien vessels over every major population center, Madam President. They're not attacking yet, but they're studying us. I recommend we go to full military alert. Already done. I'm calling an emergency meeting with world leaders in 1 hour. How long do we have?" Jake looked at the ships again. "I don't know. But if they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. They want something else." As if answering his words, every screen in the room changed. The image of an alien appeared. It looked somewhat like a human, but taller and thinner. Its skin was pale blue, and its eyes were completely black. When it spoke, its voice was cold and emotionless. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "I am Commander Zeph of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our empire. You have 72 hours to surrender your governments and military forces to our authority. After this time, resistance will be met with destruction." The alien paused, letting the words sink in. "Do not think to fight us. We have conquered 47 worlds. Each one thought they were special. Each one thought they could resist. All of them learned they were wrong. Your weapons cannot harm our ships. Your military cannot protect you. Surrender now, and your people will be treated fairly under our rule." The message ended, and the screens went back to showing the massive ships. Hanging in the sky, the control room was silent for a long moment. Then General Sam Rodriguez, who had been watching from the corner, spoke up. 72 hours, he said. "They think we'll just give up in 3 days." Jake nodded slowly. "They don't know us very well, do they?" President Carter's voice came through the speakers. "Admiral, I want you to prepare our entire fleet, every ship, every weapon, every soldier. If these aliens think we'll surrender without a fight, they're about to learn something about humanity." "Yes, ma'am. What about the other world leaders?" "I'm talking to them now. Some want to negotiate. Others want to fight. But I know what America will do. We don't kneel to anyone." Jake turned to his staff. "You heard the president. Battle stations. Contact every base, every ship, every unit. I want our full military strength ready to go in 24 hours. "Sir," Lieutenant Walsh interrupted, "we're getting reports from around the world. The aliens are broadcasting the same message in every language. They're serious about this. Deadline. So are we. Jake replied. Danny, send a message to all our allies. Tell them the United States will not surrender. Tell them we'll fight, and we'll fight to win. As the hours passed, the world watched the sky. The alien ships didn't move. They just waited, like patient predators watching their prey. But down on Earth, humanity was not sitting still. Military bases came alive with activity. Soldiers loaded weapons and prepared for battle. Ships left harbors and headed for strategic positions. Fighter pilots ran to their planes. Tank crews checked their vehicles. The whole world was getting ready for War. In the Space Command Center. Jake watched the preparations. He knew the aliens were right about one thing. Human weapons had never been tested against technology this advanced. But he also knew something the aliens didn't understand. Humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and countless battles. They had never given up when faced with impossible odds. Sir, Lieutenant, Walsh called out. Message from the President. She's about to address the nation. Jake nodded. In a few hours, the whole world would know humanity's answer to the alien ultimatum. He looked at the alien ships one more time and turned to his communications officer. Danny, prepare a message for transmission on all frequencies. Something the aliens will understand. What should it say, sir? Jake smiled grimly. Tell them we got their message. Tell them we'll give them our answer in 72 hours. And tell them to be ready for it. The war was about to begin. The emergency meeting lasted 12 hours. Leaders from every major nation sat around the table, their faces showing the weight of humanity's future. President Lisa Carter looked at each face, seeing fear, anger, and determination in equal measure. The question before us is simple, she said. Do we surrender to these aliens, or do we fight? The French president spoke first. Fighting seems impossible. Their technology is clearly superior to ours. Perhaps we should negotiate. Negotiate what? Asked the British Prime Minister. They didn't offer to negotiate. They demanded surrender. The Russian premier leaned forward. My military advisors say we have no chance in a direct fight. But Russians have fought impossible battles before. Sometimes the impossible becomes possible. President Carter nodded. I've spoken with our military leaders. Admiral Morrison believes we can hurt them, even if we can't win easily. The question is whether we're willing to try. What about our people? Asked the German Chancellor. Millions will die if we resist. Millions will die anyway, replied the Chinese leader. These aliens conquered 47 worlds. Do you think they treat their subjects kindly? The debate continued for hours. Some leaders wanted to surrender immediately. Others wanted to fight to the last breath. But slowly, a consensus emerged. Most of the world's major powers would stand together. Meanwhile, Captain Alex Thompson stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, humanity's most advanced warship. The ship was 3 years old and represented the best of human technology. Compared to the alien vessels, it looked like a toy. Captain, said his first officer, Commander Lisa Park, we're getting reports from around the world. Every military base is preparing for battle. Alex nodded, watching the alien ships through the viewport. They hadn't moved since their arrival, but he could see smaller craft moving between them. They were preparing something. What's the status of the fleet? He asked. 87 ships ready for battle, sir. Not counting the smaller vessels. And fighters. 87 against 57, Alex mused. If we only look at numbers, we might have a chance. Sir, their ships are much larger than ours. Size isn't everything, Commander. Speed, tactics, and determination can beat size. We proved that in every war we've ever fought. Back at the Space Command Center, Admiral Morrison was coordinating with military leaders worldwide. The aliens had given them 72 hours, and 60 hours had already passed. It was time to make their decision known. "Admiral," Lieutenant Walsh called out, "the President is ready to broadcast humanity's response." Jake nodded. "Put it on all frequencies. I want every human to hear this. And I want the aliens to hear it too." President Carter appeared on screens. Around the world. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. "My fellow humans," she began, "60 hours ago, aliens arrived at our world and demanded our surrender. They told us we had no choice. They told us resistance was futile. They told us they had conquered 47 worlds, and we would be number 48. She paused, letting her words sink in. "I have a message for these aliens. You don't know humanity. You don't know what we're capable of when our backs are against the wall. You've conquered 47 worlds, but you've never faced a species like us." Around the world, people stopped what they were doing to listen. In the alien ships, the Zephyrians also listened, curious about humanity's response. "We choose to fight," President Carter continued. "We choose to stand up to bullies, no matter how big they are. We choose to defend our world, our freedom, and our right to exist. You wanted our surrender. Instead, you'll get our defiance." She looked directly into the camera, as if speaking to the aliens themselves. "Come and take it." The broadcast ended, and the world held its breath. On the alien ships, Commander Zeth stared at the screen in confusion. In all his years of conquest, no species had ever responded this way. They usually begged for mercy or tried to negotiate. They never simply told the Empire to come and take what they wanted. "Commander," said one of his officers, "should we begin the attack?" Zeth considered this. The humans had surprised him with their response. Perhaps they would surprise him in other ways too. "No," he said finally. "We wait. Let them think about their decision. When they realize how hopeless their situation is, they'll surrender." But on Earth, humanity was doing the opposite of surrendering. Every factory that could build weapons started working around the clock. Every soldier prepared for battle. Every citizen who could help the war effort volunteered. Captain Thompson received his orders directly from Admiral Morrison. "Alex, take the fleet to defensive positions around the moon. If they attack Earth, they'll have to go through us first." "Understood, sir." "What about the ships over the cities? Leave them for now. Let them make the first move. But when they do, we'll be ready." The next 12 hours passed slowly. The alien ships continued to hover over Earth's cities, but they didn't attack. They seemed to be waiting for something. Perhaps they expected humanity to change its mind. On the USS Defiance, Alex walked through the ship, talking to his crew. These men and women would soon face technology they'd never seen before. They would fight an enemy that had never been defeated. "Are you scared?" asked a young ensign. Alex smiled. "Of course I'm scared. Any sane person would be scared. But being scared doesn't mean you give up. It means you fight harder." In the ship's engine room, Chief Engineer Maria Santos was making final adjustments to the weapon systems. She had worked on these systems for 3 years, but she knew they were primitive compared to alien technology. "Chief," asked one of her assistants, "do you think we can win?" Maria looked at the young man. "I think we can fight. And sometimes, fighting is enough." As the final hours ticked away, the world prepared for war. Children were moved to safe areas. Hospitals prepared for casualties. Emergency supplies were distributed. Everyone knew that when the fighting started, everything would change. Admiral Morrison stood in the command center, watching the countdown timer. 2 hours left, then 1 hour, then 30 minutes. "Sir," Lieutenant Walsh called out, "we're detecting movement from the alien ships." Jake looked at the screens. The massive vessels were finally moving, positioning themselves for attack. "Send The signal, he ordered. All forces, prepare for battle. This is not a drill. Around the world, military forces received the message. Ships moved to attack positions. Fighters launched from aircraft carriers. Ground forces took defensive positions. Waiting was over. Humanity had given its answer in words. Now it was time to give it in fire and steel. The first shots of the war came from space. Captain Alex Thompson watched through the viewport of the USS Defiance as the alien fleet began moving toward Earth. The massive ships had been waiting for 3 days, but now they were coming like a dark storm across the stars. All ships, this is Captain Thompson. He spoke into his communications device. Remember your training. Stay together, watch each other's backs, and make every shot count. The human fleet was positioned between the moon and Earth. 87. Ships against 57 alien vessels. The numbers looked almost fair until you saw the size difference. The smallest alien ship was twice as big as the largest human vessel. "Sir," called out Commander Lisa Park, "they're charging their weapons." Alex nodded. "All ships, prepare for battle. Launch all fighters." Hundreds of small fighter craft poured out of the human ships like angry wasps. They were fast and agile, but their weapons were small compared to the massive alien guns. The first alien beam cut through space like a red lightning bolt. It struck the USS Phoenix, a destroyer that had been built just 2 years ago. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. And metal, return fire. Alex shouted. The human fleet opened fire with everything they had. Missiles streaked across space, followed by energy beams and projectile weapons. Most of the shots hit the alien ships, but the powerful shields absorbed the damage. "Their shields are too strong," reported the weapons officer. "Our standard weapons aren't getting through." Alex gritted his teeth. They had expected this, but seeing it happen was different from thinking about it. Focus fire on single targets. All ships, concentrate on the lead vessel. 20 human ships turned their guns on one alien cruiser. The combined firepower began to weaken the alien shields, but it was slow work. Meanwhile, Commander Kate Sullivan was flying her experimental stealth fighter through the battle. The small ship was designed to avoid detection, and so far it was working. The alien sensors couldn't see her. "This is Shadow 1, she reported through her radio. "I'm moving to attack position." Kate's fighter was equipped with the most advanced weapons humanity had developed. Nuclear-tipped torpedoes that could punch through almost any armor. The problem was getting close enough to use them. She flew her ship through the debris from the destroyed Phoenix, using the wreckage to hide her approach. The alien command ship was directly ahead, its massive guns firing at the human fleet. "Shadow 1 to all ships," Kate called out. "I'm going for the command vessel. Keep them distracted." Alex heard her message and understood. "All ships, focus fire on the command ship. Give Shadow 1 the opening she needs." The human fleet poured everything they had into the alien command ship. The alien vessel's shields flickered as they absorbed the punishment. That was Kate's chance. She accelerated her fighter to maximum speed and flew directly at the alien ship. Point defense weapons tried to shoot her down, but she was too fast and too small. At the last second, she fired her nuclear torpedoes directly into the ship's engine section. The explosion lit up space like a new sun. The alien command ship broke. Apart, its massive hull splitting in two. Debris scattered in all directions. "Direct hit!" Kate shouted. "The command ship is destroyed." The human fleet cheered, but their celebration was short-lived. The remaining alien ships began moving faster, their formation changing. They were angry now. Down on Earth, the alien ships over the cities began their own attack. Drop pods fell from the sky like deadly rain, each one carrying alien soldiers to the surface. Colonel Ryan Hayes was commanding the defense of New York City when the first pods landed in Central Park. He watched through binoculars as the metal containers opened and alien soldiers emerged. "All units, this is Colonel Hayes," he spoke into his radio. "The aliens are landing in Central Park. Move to intercept." The alien soldiers were tall and thin, wearing dark armor that seemed to absorb light. They carried weapons that fired blue energy beams. But they moved slowly, like they weren't used to Earth's gravity. "Tank units advance," Ryan ordered. "Infantry, spread out and find cover." The battle for New York began with a roar of engines and gunfire. Human tanks rolled down the streets, their guns blazing. Soldiers took positions behind cars and buildings, firing at the alien troops. The first alien Ryan saw up close was 12 feet tall, with pale blue skin and black eyes. It carried a weapon that looked like a combination of a rifle and a computer. When it fired, the blue beam cut through a concrete wall like it was paper. "Focus fire on their weapons," Ryan shouted. "If we can't hurt them, at least we can disarm them." The human soldiers concentrated their fire on the alien weapons. Several aliens found themselves holding broken equipment, and suddenly they didn't. Seemed so dangerous. Back in space, the battle was getting worse for the human fleet. They had destroyed one alien ship, but lost 7 of their own. The aliens were learning human tactics and adapting. "Sir," reported Commander Park, "the aliens are using some kind of jamming device. We're losing communication with half the fleet." Alex looked at the tactical display. The human ships were scattered across space, unable to coordinate their attacks. That was exactly what the aliens wanted. "All ships use emergency frequencies," he ordered, "and prepare for close combat." The USS Defiance accelerated directly toward the nearest alien ship. At close range, the human weapons were more effective. The alien shields were designed to stop long-range attacks, not point-blank fire. "Fire everything," Alex shouted as his ship passed within a few hundred yards of the alien vessel. The Defiance's guns tore into the alien ship's hull, punching holes in the metal. The alien ship returned fire, but the human ship was too close and moving too fast to other human ships. Followed Alex's example. They closed the distance and fought at ranges where human weapons could do damage. It was dangerous, but it was working. Commander Kate Sullivan had destroyed the alien command ship, but she wasn't finished. Her stealth fighter still had weapons, and there were plenty of targets. "Shadow 1 to fleet," she reported. "I'm seeing a pattern in their shield frequency. If we can match it, we might be able to get through. Send us the data." Alex replied. Kate transmitted the information she had gathered. The human ships began adjusting their weapons to match the alien shield frequency. Suddenly, their shots were getting through. On Earth, Colonel Hayes was learning that alien soldiers had weaknesses too. They were strong and tough, but they were also slow and unfamiliar with human cities. They got lost in the streets and confused by the tall buildings. "Use the environment against them," he told his soldiers. "Lead them into ambushes. Use the buildings and streets. This is our home, not theirs." The battle for New York turned into a running fight through the city. Human soldiers used their knowledge of the streets to outmaneuver the alien troops. They set traps and ambushes, using the city itself as a weapon. The first day of war was ending, and both sides had learned important lessons. The aliens discovered that humans were not as easy to defeat as they had expected. The humans learned that while alien technology was superior, it wasn't invincible. In space, the human fleet had lost 12 ships, but they had destroyed 3 alien vessels. On Earth, the cities were damaged, but still in human hands. Admiral Morrison watched the battle reports in his command center. The casualties were heavy, but humanity was still fighting. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Walsh, "we're getting similar reports from around the world. The aliens are having trouble in all the major cities. Jake nodded. Send a message to all commanders. Tell them we're holding our own. Tell them to keep fighting. As night fell over the battlefield, both sides prepared for the next day. The aliens were confused and angry. They had expected quick victory, but instead they had found determined resistance. The humans were tired and bloodied, but they were still standing. They had proven that alien technology could be beaten with human courage and determination. The war was just beginning, but humanity had drawn first blood. 3 weeks had passed since the first battle, and the war had changed into something the aliens never expected. The Zephyrians had conquered 47 worlds, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. Lieutenant Emma Davis crouched behind the ruins of a Chicago office building, watching alien patrol units move through the streets below. The city was barely recognizable after weeks of fighting. Tall buildings had been reduced to rubble, and smoke rose from fires that had been burning for days. "This is Ghost Leader," she whispered into her radio. "I count 12 alien soldiers moving east on Michigan Avenue. They're using the same patrol pattern as yesterday." The response came from Sergeant Mike Johnson, hidden in a different building 2 blocks away. "Copy that, Ghost Leader. We're ready to spring the trap." Emma's resistance cell had been fighting the alien occupiers for 3 weeks. They had learned that the aliens were predictable. They followed the same routes, used the same tactics, and made the same mistakes every day. "Ghost 3, are you in position?" Emma asked. "In position," replied Corporal Janet Stone from her hiding spot in the subway tunnels below the street. "I've got the explosives ready." Emma watched the alien patrol move closer to the trap. These aliens were different from the ones she had fought in the first battle. They were smaller, about 8 feet tall instead of 12, and they moved more carefully through the ruins. "Wait for my signal," Emma said. "Remember, we hit them hard and fast, then disappear before reinforcements arrive." The alien patrol reached the intersection exactly where Emma expected. They stopped to check their equipment, just like they did every day at the same time. "Now!" Emma shouted. The street exploded beneath the alien patrol. Janet's explosives had been placed perfectly, and the blast sent alien soldiers flying in all directions. Before they could recover, Emma and her team opened fire from 3 different buildings. The aliens tried to return fire, but they couldn't see their attackers. The humans used the ruined buildings as cover, shooting from windows and doorways. Before disappearing into the shadows, in less than 2 minutes, the entire alien patrol was down. Emma's team had struck again without losing a single person. "Ghost Leader to all units," Emma reported. "Package delivered. Moving to extraction point." The resistance fighters vanished into the ruins of Chicago, using tunnels and hidden passages they had prepared weeks ago. By the time alien reinforcements arrived, the humans were gone, miles away. Dr. Nathan Pierce was working in a hidden laboratory beneath the ruins of the University of Chicago. He had been studying captured alien technology for 2 weeks, and he was beginning to understand how it worked. "The aliens are more advanced than us," he explained to his assistant, Dr. Sarah Kim, "but they're not perfect. Their technology has weaknesses we can exploit." Nathan held up a damaged alien weapon. "Look at this energy rifle. It's incredibly powerful, but it uses a lot of energy. The power cell can only fire 20 shots before it needs to be recharged." "How does that help us?" Sarah asked. "If we can make them waste their shots, they become helpless. Also, their armor is designed to stop energy weapons, not traditional bullets. Our old-fashioned guns can actually hurt them." Nathan had made several important discoveries. The aliens had trouble seeing in certain types of light. Their communication systems could be jammed with the right frequency, and their vehicles couldn't handle certain types of terrain. Most importantly, Nathan continued, They're not used to fighting an enemy that doesn't follow the rules of war. They expect us to fight like they do, in organized formations with clear battle lines. He pulled up a map of the city on his computer. But we're not fighting like that. We're fighting like guerrillas. We hit them when they don't expect it, then disappear before they can respond. This information was being shared with resistance cells around the world. Human fighters were learning to use the aliens' own strengths against them. In the ruins of London, Captain Robert Taylor was leading a different kind of resistance. His team specialized in capturing alien equipment and turning it against its former owners. The key is to get them to chase us, he explained to his squad. We let them think they have us cornered, then we lead them into a trap. Robert's team had captured 3 alien vehicles and converted them for human use. The vehicles were fast and heavily armored, perfect for hit-and-run attacks. Remember, Robert told his driver, these things are built for alien hands. The controls are different, but they work the same way. The captured alien vehicle roared to life, its engines making a sound like controlled thunder. Robert and his team drove through the streets of London, hunting for enemy patrols. They found what they were looking for near the Tower of London. An alien supply convoy was moving through the city, carrying equipment and reinforcements. Attack run, Robert ordered. Hit the lead vehicle, then get out of there. A captured alien vehicle accelerated toward the convoy. Robert's gunner fired the alien weapon systems, and the lead enemy vehicle exploded in a ball of blue fire. The other alien vehicles tried to pursue, but Robert's driver knew the streets better than they did. The human-operated vehicle disappeared into the maze of London's narrow roads. Back at the hidden lunar base, Admiral Morrison was coordinating the global resistance effort. Reports were coming in from around the world, and they were encouraging. Sir, reported Lieutenant Walsh, we're getting positive reports from every major city. The resistance cells are causing serious problems for the alien occupation forces. Jake nodded as he read the reports. What about our production facilities? That's the good news, sir. Engineer Maya Brooks reports that our hidden factories are operating at full capacity. We're producing weapons and equipment faster than the aliens can destroy them. This was humanity's secret weapon. While the aliens controlled the major cities, they had no idea how many hidden facilities the humans had built. Underground factories, concealed weapons depots, and secret communication networks were spread across the globe. Maya Brooks was overseeing the conversion of a car manufacturing plant in Detroit. The factory had been built underground, hidden from alien sensors. Instead of cars, it was now producing weapons, ammunition, and equipment for the resistance. The aliens think like conquerors, Maya explained to her team. They capture the obvious targets: government buildings, military bases, communication centers. But they don't understand how human industry really works. The factory was producing 1,000 rifles per day, along with millions of rounds of ammunition. But more importantly, it was producing something the aliens had never seen before: weapons designed specifically to fight Zephyrian technology. These new guns are based on Dr. Pierce's research, Maya continued. They fire bullets that can penetrate alien armor, and they're designed to jam alien communication systems. Similar factories were operating around the world. The aliens controlled the surface, but underneath, humanity was building an army. Lieutenant Emma Davis received a supply drop from one of these hidden factories. The weapons were better than anything she had used before, specifically designed to fight aliens. These bullets are made from a special metal, explained the supply officer. Dr. Pierce discovered that it disrupts alien shield systems. One shot can disable their personal protection. Emma tested the new weapon on a captured alien shield generator. The bullet passed through the energy field like it wasn't there. Outstanding, she said. How many of these can we get? As many as you need. The factories are working around the clock. This was what the aliens didn't understand about humanity. Other species had fought them with traditional military tactics. They had tried to match alien technology with their own advanced weapons. But humans were different. They adapted. They learned. They used whatever worked, no matter how primitive or unconventional. The Zephyrians had conquered worlds with advanced civilizations and powerful military forces. But they had never fought a species that could turn a city into a weapon or transform a factory into a fortress. Commander Zeth stood in his command center, looking at reports from Earth. The conquest was taking much longer than expected, and his forces were suffering losses he had never experienced before. "Commander," reported one of his officers, "we're losing an average of 50 soldiers per day to human attacks." The humans refused to fight organized battles. Zeth studied the tactical displays. The humans appeared as scattered groups all over a planet. Every time his forces attacked one group, 2 more appeared somewhere else. "Increase patrols," he ordered. "Find their bases and destroy them." But the humans didn't have bases in the traditional sense. They had hundreds of small hiding places, constantly moving and changing. It was like trying to fight smoke. For the first time in his career, Commander Zeth was facing an enemy that refused to be conquered. The humans were not just fighting back. They were getting stronger down on Earth. The resistance was growing every day. New cells were forming, new weapons were being produced, and new tactics were being developed that the aliens had expected to conquer Earth in a few days. Instead, they were stuck in a war that was getting harder every day. Humanity had learned to fight like guerrillas, and the galaxy had never seen anything like it. 2 months into the war, the aliens were beginning to understand they had made a terrible mistake. Commander Zeth stood in his command center, staring at casualty reports that made no sense according to everything the Zephyrian Empire had learned. About conquest. "How many soldiers have we lost this week?" he asked his aide. 437, sir." "The humans are becoming more effective." Zeth couldn't believe it. His forces were supposed to be superior in every way. Yet somehow, primitive humans were killing his soldiers faster than he could replace them. "What about their production capabilities?" he asked. "That's the problem, sir. We keep destroying their factories, but new ones keep appearing. It's like they can build weapons anywhere." What the aliens didn't understand was that humanity had spent centuries perfecting the art of mass production. When the war started, every human factory, workshop, and garage had been converted to military production. Engineer Maya Brooks was now overseeing 12 hidden factories across North America. Each one was producing weapons, equipment, and vehicles 24 hours a day. "The aliens are looking for big factories," she explained to her production team. "They expect us to build things the way they do, in massive centralized facilities, but we're not doing that." Instead, Maya had created a network of small factories, each one hidden and mobile. When the aliens found one, it would be abandoned and rebuilt somewhere else within days. "This week, we're going to try something new," Maya announced. "We're going to build our own spaceships." The idea seemed impossible. Humans had never built anything that could match alien technology. But Maya had been studying captured alien equipment for 2 months, and she thought she understood how it worked. "We can't copy their technology exactly," she admitted, "but we can build something that works almost as well, using materials and techniques they've never seen before." The first human-built fighter ship was completed in an underground facility in Nevada. It was smaller than alien ships, but it was fast and heavily armed. Most importantly, it was built using human manufacturing techniques that could produce them quickly and cheaply. "We can build 50 of these in the time it takes them to build one of their ships," Maya reported to Admiral Morrison. "They have better technology, but we have better production." This was the turning point the aliens had not expected. Every species they had conquered before had tried to match their technology. But humans were doing something different. They were using their own strengths instead of copying alien weaknesses. Captain Alex Thompson was about to test the first human-built fighter in combat. The ship felt different from anything he had flown before. It was built for human hands, designed around human reflexes and human thinking. "This is Eagle 1, he reported as he launched from the hidden lunar base, beginning test flight. The new fighter moved through space like a living thing. It was fast and agile, able to turn and twist in ways that alien ships couldn't match. When Alex fired the weapons, they felt more powerful than anything humans had built before. "Eagle 1 to base," he reported. "This ship is incredible. It handles like a dream, and the weapons are more effective than our old systems." Within hours, the first squadron of human-built fighters was ready for combat. They were joined by captured alien vessels and converted human ships. For the first time since the war began, humanity had a space fleet that could fight on equal terms. The test came when alien reinforcements arrived at the edge of the solar system. 50 new alien ships, fresh from conquering another world, expected to find Earth defeated and humanity surrendered. Instead, they found a human fleet waiting for them. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," came the voice over the communication system. "Today we show these aliens what humanity is really capable of. Attack." A battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships fought with a combination of advanced technology and desperate courage. The new fighters swarmed around the larger alien ships like angry bees, their weapons cutting through alien armor. Commander Kate Sullivan was flying one of the new fighters, and she could immediately feel the difference. The ship responded to her thoughts almost before she could give commands. "This is Shadow Leader," she called out to her squadron. "These new ships are amazing. I've never flown anything this responsive." Kate's squadron attacked the alien formation from 3 different directions. The aliens tried to respond with their usual tactics, but the human ships were too fast and unpredictable. "Their shields can't track us," reported one of Kate's pilots. "We're moving too fast for their targeting systems." The human fighters darted in and out of the alien formation, striking hard and disappearing before the enemy could respond. It was like watching a pack of wolves attack a herd of elephants. But the real surprise came when the aliens tried to retreat. Human ships followed them, attacking their engines and weapons. For the first time in Zephyrian history, an enemy was pursuing them. "Sir," reported Kate's wingman, "the aliens are running away." Kate couldn't believe it. "Confirm that, Eagle 2. Are they actually retreating?" "Confirmed, Shadow Leader. The entire alien fleet is withdrawing from the system." Back on Earth, the news of the space battle spread quickly through the resistance networks. For the first time since the war began, humanity had won a major victory. Lieutenant Emma Davis received the news while planning another attack on alien forces in Chicago. Her resistance cell had grown from 12 fighters to over 200 in just 2 months. "Did you hear?" asked Sergeant Mike Johnson, his face breaking into a huge smile. "Our boys in space just kicked the aliens back to wherever they came from." Emma nodded, but she kept her expression serious. "That's good news, but we still have work to do down here. The aliens still control most of the major cities." She was right. While the space battle was a major victory, there were still thousands of alien soldiers on Earth's surface. But something had changed. The aliens were no longer acting like conquerors. They were acting like people who were afraid of losing. Dr. Nathan Pierce had noticed the change in alien behavior during his latest experiments. The captured alien soldiers were more nervous, less confident than they had been at the beginning of the war. "They're starting to doubt themselves," he explained to his research team. For the first time in their history, they're facing an enemy that refuses to give up. Nathan had learned something important about alien psychology. The Zephyrians were used to quick victories. Their entire military doctrine was based on overwhelming force and rapid conquest. They had never fought a long war against a determined enemy. "Look at these communication intercepts," Nathan said, showing his team translated. "Alien messages. They're asking for more reinforcements, more supplies, more everything. They never expected to need this much to conquer one world." The aliens were discovering that conquering humanity was like trying to hold water in their hands. Every time they thought they had won, the humans slipped away and attacked from a different direction. Maya Brooks was taking advantage of this confusion to expand human production even further. Her network of hidden factories had grown to include facilities on every continent. "We're now producing more weapons per day than the aliens can destroy," she reported to the Resistance leadership. "And we're starting to produce things they've never seen before." The latest human innovation was a weapon that used alien technology in ways the aliens had never imagined. Human engineers had taken alien energy cells and combined them with human projectile weapons to create guns that could punch through any alien armor. "The aliens build their technology to work in specific ways," Maya explained. "But humans are good at taking things apart and putting them back together differently. We're using their own technology against them in ways they never expected." This was becoming humanity's greatest advantage. The aliens were more advanced, but they were also more rigid in their thinking. They couldn't adapt to new situations as quickly as humans could. Captain Alex Thompson was seeing this firsthand in space combat. The alien ships were powerful, but they always used the same tactics. Human pilots were learning to predict alien behavior and counter it. "The aliens fight like machines," he explained to his squadron leaders. "They follow programs, patterns, and procedures, but we fight like humans. We improvise, we adapt, we change our tactics in the middle of battle." In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Alex was preparing for another major battle. Intelligence reports indicated that a massive alien fleet was approaching Earth, the largest the Zephyrians had ever assembled. "This is it," Alex told his pilots. "They're bringing everything they have. If we can stop them here, we might actually win this war." The human fleet had grown dramatically in the past month. Maya's factories had produced over 300 new ships, and captured alien vessels had been converted for human use. The fleet now included over 500 ships of various sizes. "Sir," reported Commander Lisa Park, "long-range sensors are detecting the alien fleet. Over 200 ships, including several we've never seen before." Alex nodded grimly. "Signal all ships. This is the big one. Everything we've worked for comes down to this battle." The alien fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel like a wall of dark metal and angry energy. They had brought ships from across their empire, including massive dreadnought